The Nintendo Switch has been a pretty great console overall. Can we all agree? From its ability to be played on the big screen as well as on the go, to its plethora of banger game series that found new life during this console generation, I think it's safe to say that the Switch will be remembered very fondly upon. However, there is one series that has had a rocky relationship with its audience this generation, that of course being Punch-Out. I mean, come on, that's not even a port of the Wii game, are you kidding me? Oh, and I guess Pokemon as well. Now, I've already talked about the current state of the mainline games before, but what I want to know right now is, where are all the side games at? Over the years, Pokemon has had several spin-off games and even spin-off franchises that helped alleviate us from the pain of waiting for the next generation. And the crazy thing is, a lot of these side games were good, really good, and there was no short supply of them either. However, nowadays they seem to release less and less as the years go on, which is a shame. So the big question is, why is that? Let's back up a bit though. Back in the N64 days, one of the first spin-off titles we ever got was Pokemon Snap in 1999. Now this game was surprisingly good. On the outset, you're just taking pictures of Pokemon, but it's all about seeing how they act in the wild that's so interesting. Trying to get the higher score by taking better pictures can be pretty fun. Then of course we got Stadium 1 and 2, which allowed people to experience 3D Pokemon battles for the first time. Like imagine you're a kid in 2000 and you went from playing Pokemon like this to this.
Vigorous attack! A savage hit!
Although that isn't to say all the games were good. I think the entire world should just forget that Hey You Pikachu existed. Other games of note during this era were the TCG game and the pinball game on the Game Boy, as well as Pokemon Puzzle League. And if you really want to include it, Pikachu and Jigglypuff were also in Smash Bros. In the first two generations alone, Pokemon has already made itself known through a variety of genres, and will continue to do so in the upcoming eras. The third and fourth generation would go on to establish some of the most well-recognized and respected series out of the bunch. Aside from sequels to previous titles and some games for extra storage, the big spin-off series of Gen 3 is the Colosseum and XD Gale of Darkness duo. Like the Stadium games before it, the big selling point of these titles was seeing your Pokemon from the GBA in glorious 480p on the big screen. But this time, there's actually a story mode. Instead of the usual shtick of collecting 8 gym badges, stopping the evil team, beating the champion, and slaying the Jabberwocky, your mission is solely focused on defeating the evil team who is hell-bent on taking over the Ore region, as you try to capture and purify their Shadow Pokemon. Also, can I just take a minute to talk about how cool-looking Shadow Lugia is? Lugia was already goated, and now you give him his Heartless form? Say less! Bring him to the main games, you cowards! And with that, my friends, we've arrived at a point in time where the true titans of spin-off games emerged from. Pokemon Mystery Dungeon came in, guns blazing, and spawned an entire sub-series just like that, and still has its praises sung to this very day! Pokemon Ranger utilized the DS's touchpad in a fun way, expanded the Pokemon world as we know it. Now whenever I see a Ranger in the main games, I just think, wait a minute, why are you using Pokeballs? You can't do that in the Ranger games, what are you doing? Also, these games let you transfer certain mythical Pokemon into your Gen 4 game, making the Ranger games 100% canon, baby. There are also other games like Pokemon Rumble, Pokemon Battle Revolution, My Pokemon Ranch, Troze, and Pokepark. So much variety during this time, making Pokemon known for much more than just a traditional turn-based RPG series. Gen 5 mostly focused on giving us sequels to previous spin-offs like Mystery Dungeon and Pokepark. However, we did get a completely new entry in the form of Pokemon Conquest, a battle strategy game where you command an army whose goal is to conquer the entire region of Ransei. A lot of people call this Pokemon but Fire Emblem, but actually it's based off a game called Nobunaga's Ambition. See, look, there he is. Look at all of his ambition. Definitely one of the sleeper hits of the franchise. Gen 6 seems to be business as usual. Troze sequel, new Rumble game, Super Mystery Dungeon, etc. We also did get Pokemon Art Academy, which low-key is pretty awesome. But I think the standout this gen stands head and shoulders above everything else. Originally an arcade game in Japan, Pokémon Tournament came out on the Wii U and became an instant hit. A Pokemon fighting game is something the fan base has been begging for a very long time, and Pokémon certainly did not disappoint. Just look at the graphics! It also helped that it was made by the Tekken team, who knew a lot about fighting games. This turned out very good. Oh, and there was also a very small and niche game released around this time called Pokemon Go. You probably haven't heard of it though. Jokes aside, the moment Pokemon Go was released, the entire world was changed. During the summer of 2016, people actually went outside for once and made $1 billion in its first year. Pokemon Go is still pulling in big numbers to this day, and has had a major impact on the franchise and company. This is when you can see a shift in the types of side games being released. The only games released on the console during Gen 7 was a port of Pokémon Tournament and Pokemon Quest, which was later ported to mobile devices. The rest were all mobile games, including Pokemon Masters and Pokemon Duel. I still miss you, my sweet prince. In Gen 8, we got a Mystery Dungeon remake and a new Pokemon Snap game, which is cool, but the rest is just a bunch of mobile games that were ported from the Switch. It's my belief that when the Pokemon Company saw the success of Pokemon Go, they decided to shift their focus away from standalone games with one-time payments, and instead decided to release a bunch of mobile phone games that were free to play and had many microtransactions, all in the hopes of making more moolah. I can't exactly fault them for chasing the bag, but I feel like we've also lost something in the process. There was so much content and quality in the old spin-off titles that just isn't there for a lot of the mobile games, which all have the free-to-play model of having little amounts of content locked behind stamina bars that require you to either wait real time or spend money to bypass, and if you want to get into the competitive side of them, then you'll have to prepare to spend hundreds or thousands of dollars for unlucky pulls for characters, or be like Pokemon Unite and pay to level up. It also doesn't help that the time between generations has been getting smaller and smaller with recent years, meaning there's less time for spin-off titles to be slotted in. Personally, I don't see why Pokemon Company can't just hire more studios to focus on series like Mystery Dungeon or other spin-offs, like they have the money. Although looking at what has released in Gen 9 so far, it doesn't look like their methods are changing anytime soon. Now, I just want to throw it out there, no shade to anyone who enjoys these mobile games. I mean, they pull in numbers for a reason, but I just hope that we can get some prime ribs to go with these chicken wings. You feel me? But that's about all I have to say on the matter. What do you guys think about all this? What's your favorite Pokemon spin-off? And what series would you want to make a comeback on the Switch or Switch 2? Let me know down in the comments below, and until next time, see ya!